All right, wonderful. Looks like we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Therapy Thursday. My name is Jodie Solberg, and I am your mental wellness professional and certified master hypnotherapist, helping to guide passionate, purpose-driven professionals to be able to heal from trauma, anxiety, and burnout so that they can create more peace, joy, and work-life harmony. And of course, we want to reach all of our personal and professional goals. That's why we're here. And so today, as you can probably see already, I have a very special guest with me. She's my friend Naia Kete. So welcome, Naia. So happy that you're here with us. And I want to do a quick introduction because Naia is pretty impressive, I have to say. I knew that was going to make her blush a little bit. But she is such
what's happening?
She's such a powerful woman. And I want you to get to know her a little bit. And then we're going to dive right into talking about the power of healing in sisterhood and how important that is for us as women. And so Naia is a song healer and a transformational breath coach, as well as being founder of the Undenaiable Sisterhood and Song Healing Trauma. She's the co-founder of the urban reggae band Stay Real. And how I first actually got introduced to Naia, I don't know if I ever told you this, is from NBC's The Voice. She's an alumni there. And so I knew who she was before we actually met. We met networking. She popped into one of my women's groups and I remember her. So just such an amazing accomplishment. And Naia spent years as a broke street performer in LA. She was hustling just to be heard. And she is so passionate. And this is the thing that we really connected over, about empowering women and young people to claim the truest expression of their voice so they can share their gifts with the world. She has since performed all over on some of the world's biggest stages, including Bonnaroo, Outside Lands, South by Southwest, and has dedicated her life to supporting women in healing through song and sisterhood, which is what we're going to talk about today. Naia was hailed by Rolling Stones, I love this, as an earthy solstice. I think that really just puts you to a T there, Naia. And her band, Say Real, was actually named LA's hottest new band by Us Weekly, which is so exciting. She is a gifted and prolific songwriter, and Naia has written thousands of original songs and has collaborated with so many different artists, such as Linda Perry, Colby Kaye, John Forte, and she has opened for A-listers like Ziggy Marley and Michael Franti, and toured nationally with a Bowie celebration. It's exciting. And she has a following, y'all, of over 500,000 on social media, and works one-on-one with women and young people of color, and was recently featured as a speaker at the Grant Makers in the Arts Conference in New York City, and also at a international mental health conference.
That's true. I got to update that bio.
Gotta update that. Yes. Oh my gosh. So tell them that was in Greece, correct?
Yes.
With people like President Obama.
There. Yeah, it was pretty surreal. I was like, is this real? Am I actually here? Yeah, it's called SNF Nostos, which stands for Stavros Niarchos Foundation. And it was a conference all around mental health. And I was there speaking on a panel about mental health and trauma healing. And right after I spoke, Goldie Hawn spoke on the same stage. So I just was. So that was like wild. And then literally right after she spoke, 2 doors down in the same building, Obama spoke. So it was just like, I was surrounded by some high caliber individuals, let's put it that way. So it was a blessing to be a part of.
So incredible. So incredible. Well, thank you for being here with us today. I'm so excited to start this conversation and talk about healing and sisterhood. I don't know that a lot of people really think about how powerful that can be for us as women, and don't realize what a sister wound is and how we can heal that together. So Naia, I'm going to turn the floor over to you to introduce those concepts and how we create sisterhood and how we heal that sister wound. And what is the sister wound?
Yeah, okay. So there's a lot there, and these are the kinds of topics that I could speak on for hours and hours. So I'm going to do my best to distill it in a way that your everyday woman can really grasp. So what I'll first say is that what I noticed about your average woman is that your average woman is somebody who's a multitasker, somebody who's a nurturer, somebody who does spends a lot of her time taking care of others, sometimes at a disservice and at a detriment to herself, sometimes not, right? But regardless, she is somebody, women in general, women that I know and interact with in general, they do a lot of caretaking. And a lot of times what I see is women kind of doing these things, going about their lives, be that as parents, as business owners, as as workers, employees, whatever it is that you might do for work, kind of going about that on their own. Okay. And what I mean by that is that they don't necessarily, as a general rule, okay, and this is going to vary from woman to woman, but as a general rule, they don't have a solid support system of connected soul sisters who really know the ins and outs of her day to day. Like when you think about what you do every day, from the time you wake up in the morning, from the time you go to bed at night, how many people know what that struggle looks like, what that life looks like? And I'm going to imagine that most people really don't really know what your day-to-day is like. And because of that, women end up feeling isolated. We end up feeling lonely. We end up feeling like we don't have enough or what we need or resourced in the way that we want to be. And when we do go and try and share ourselves to somebody else, especially another sister or woman who you think might get it, a friend that you think, oh, maybe this friend might get it. She doesn't get it. She doesn't fully understand because she's going through her own shit, right? And y'all haven't figured out how to talk, right? So that in a nutshell is how I describe the sister wound. And I actually really started to understand this when I was doing some research about the patriarchy. People used to say patriarchy a lot, and I was surrounded by a lot of righteous revolutionary women when I was younger, and they were powerful beings to be around, but there was a lot of talk about the patriarchy and how we have to fight against the patriarchy. And I would just kind of be like, okay, yeah, I don't understand what that means. But if you think about it, you think about your average woman doing all the things all the time, taking care of everyone on her own. What does the patriarchy need to thrive? It needs women in isolation, right? And so the sister wound, from my perspective, was actually born out of patriarchy as a way of keeping women disconnected from one another, so we can't realize and reclaim our inherent power and wisdom that is sourced from one another, to, in essence, not stand for what we have been living in for centuries, where our power has been undermined, undervalued, and stepped upon. So that's context. I don't know where you want to go from there, but that's how I would sum it up.
I think that sums it up really well. And like you said, isolating us from one another and collaborating in community and feeling like we can give as well as receive support from one another, because we were not designed to do everything all by ourselves all of the time. There's so much of that outside pressure and expectation that women put on themselves, and it does separate us and it does keep us distant from one another. And sometimes, people have had not great experiences in relationship with other women. And so it's not familiar to them. It's not comfortable to them because they just haven't had the experience to be in true sisterhood that is collaborative, that is uplifting, where you can be vulnerable, where you can open yourself up and be real and hold and be held. And so what I would love for you to go into next is, for somebody who maybe has had, past hurts or traumas or bad experiences, how do we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and to receive that support from other women?
Yeah, that's everything right there. That's the whole question. How do we do it? How do we allow ourselves to heal in community, right? Women are not designed to heal in silos. We are designed to heal in community, but we've been taught, whether that's been intentionally taught or learned through, osmosis, a way of being that denies us our own inherent tendencies, our natural tendency to want to be together. So I would say if you're somebody who is carrying trauma, which I would, and if you're a human, I would say you are, because we're all carrying trauma, and you have a desire to even begin to explore what it would feel like to share vulnerably, not just the day-to-day, which I think is important, but also the big stuff. I would first, the way that I did it, and I can only always speak from my own personal experience, the way that I was able to learn how to open myself up to women was to first open myself up to myself, to get real, crystal clear and transparent with myself about, I think about the Clarity Collective as I just said that, to get really clear and transparent with myself about what I'm struggling with, right? What my limiting beliefs are. What are the parts of myself that I don't like? We talk a lot about, wanting to uplift ourselves and uplift each other and believe in yourself and all of that. And at a certain point for me, that actually became toxic after a while, because I was bypassing the real truth that there were still parts of myself that I didn't love. There were parts of myself that I didn't like. And when I tried to deny that, to try and force myself to believe something that I couldn't actually believe yet, because I hadn't done the work to release the trauma that allows a belief like I'm beautiful or I'm worthy to really unfold in yourself in an authentic way, I just created more trauma, more struggle, more friction. And so first and foremost, I had to get real with myself. And when I got real with myself and was like, wow, there is a lot about myself that I don't like. There is a lot about myself that I want to heal, and hear for that matter. There is a lot of myself that I want to explore, that I'm confused about, that I'm not crystal clear on, and I need to figure it out. And so when to be honest, when I realized the enormous pile of crap that I still had to navigate and go through, it became so obvious. There was no way that I could figure this out for myself, right? No way. And so that's how it started for me. And then from that point, this is where it gets really, this is where the real leap comes in. The real leap comes into play, because the sister wound shows itself in a lot of different ways. And for me, the way that my sister wound expressed itself was debilitating fear of rejection, not being accepted. And so the idea that I would open myself up, open up my darkest secrets, or just even open up my day-to-day, that the amount of times I judge myself throughout the day. Did I not finish my workout? Did I not eat what I said I was going to eat? Did I not post the thing I said I was going to post, right? And then I judge myself for that. To even talk about that stuff, let alone the deep stuff, was like, whoa, how am I going to do that? I really had to release expectation. I had to surrender expectation and just trust that the more honest I could be with myself and just exercise that honesty through the expression of my voice, and just like let it go and release it out into the universe, not expecting anything in return, right? Because we expect to feel welcome. We expect to feel accepted. We expect to feel embraced. Whatever it is that you expect when you share your truth with another human, release that expectation and just focus on your truth and just being as crystal clear as you can with your truth, even when that's, I don't know. Because sometimes it was just like, I have a huge pile of shit that I'm dealing with, and I don't know what the heck to do with it, right? But even just naming the not knowing, all of a sudden, the way that I describe it, it's like when you name the uncertainty or the unclarity, things become clear just by virtue of naming it. Like, I'm unclear. Okay, that's clear, right? That's the clear part, right? So surrendering the expectation. And what happened when I surrendered expectation, I was able to spend a lot more time that I had wasted on expectation, being able to articulate my truth. And the more that I was able to be clear and articulate my truth, the more I actually got what it was that I really wanted and had expected before, right? So that's how I did it. Honesty with myself, surrender expectation, and articulate your truth. Those are kind of like my 3 steps.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that process. I always say that awareness is that first step, right? And that self-awareness is huge. And then being able to release those pressures and those expectations off of ourselves. And whether it's being vulnerable and talking about, you know, those past hurts and traumas and the things we go through in our day-to-day lives, or it's being celebrated and celebrating our own accomplishments and celebrating, you know, ourselves, you know, getting to know ourselves and then celebrating who we truly are is incredible. And it's such an amazing space that you have created specifically, which is why I wanted you to come here and talk about it, because you've created this undeniable sisterhood, which is a space for both. And I am a part of that sisterhood. I also am honored to be able to help to cultivate and co-create some of that space with you and to be featured. So thank you for, you know, embracing me into your community. I would love to share that with everyone who's watching, what the Undeniable Sisterhood is, what we do there, and what that looks like.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought up celebration. One of the things that I say about the Undeniable Sisterhood is it's a space for women to be celebrated in the light and held in the dark. I remember the moment I realized all of my friends who I thought were my friends were not my friends. I realized all of my friends that I had created, we had, you know, most of them, we'd gotten to know one another in high school, and we had bonded over our victimhood. We had bonded over our struggle and our shame and our trauma. And so when it came time that I was doing well, they had no idea how to be friends with me. And I had no idea how to be friends with them, because we weren't taught how to celebrate each other. It was like my celebration and sometimes their celebration, same thing. It's like we see it as a threat. And so collaboration over competition is the value that's really important to me within the Undeniable Sisterhood. And, you know, really what I'm finding more and more of is it's a space for healers who need healing. Because like I said, women, man, we go out, we are doing the work, we're taking care of everyone. And a lot of us, especially in these days, there are like the coaching industry is booming, which I think is so important. There are so many coaches, facilitators, breathwork practitioners, energy healers, you know, all of these women able to start businesses and support themselves, leveraging different healing modalities, be that coaching or thought work or breath work or yoga, you know, whatever the modality that you're in. And so you spend a lot of time literally putting yourself in a position to absorb other people's energies. And if you don't have a safe space to clear that for yourself and to recharge, refill your cup, it's going to affect not only your life and your health, but also your ability to do your job effectively, right? And so, yeah, it's a space where you can be held and hold. Because what happens when you get a room full of healers in a room, we want to heal each other. We can't help it, right? And I think that's what I'm hearing, and what I found for myself is that's very unique. You know, it's really unique to be in a room full of powerful women who you, in one moment you could be held by, and another moment you could do the holding. And what I found is that you get to receive yourself and your own leadership and your own medicine in a new way, in a new light, when you're showing up in your zone of genius in a room full of other powerful women and they're reflecting back to you how powerful you are, and just 2 seconds ago you were being held by those same women, and now you're the one showing up and doing the holding, it's like you receive how powerful you are just through that process of dancing back and forth between the roles of holding and being held. And so I found it's up-leveled who it is that I am in a real way. When I founded the sisterhood, I had no idea how badly I actually needed it. I had women in my life, I did. But then when it became undeniable, when the bond and the show, I say it's a space where you feel shown the fuck up for, right? When you feel shown the fuck up for, everything in your life changes. And I know there's a lot of women and space holders out there who show up and don't feel shown up for. So that's really the core of what we're about, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is something that I have expressed so many times. This has been so valuable for me personally, is because I am showing up for everyone else all of the time. And so to have a space where not only do I get to play to those natural strengths and the things that I love to do and how I love to help other women and lift them up, but I also get to participate for myself. You know, I get to be held to, I get to be listened to as well. And I get to be seen on both sides. Like you said, you know, sometimes we are having a powerful day where we're feeling amazing. And some days we're questioning ourselves, and to be able to show up in a space where people can see you and truly hear you and be able to reflect that back has been so powerful. So I absolutely love the space that you have created. I'm so grateful for it. And I know that some of the people who are listening to us today might want to experience that. So I would love for you to talk a little bit about the monthly gathering. So we have that coming up the last Sunday of the month, and how they might be able to come and visit and experience and see what true sisterhood is like.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to come and experience the Undeniable Sisterhood for yourself, the last Sunday of every month, so we're in July, so it's July 30th is the next one. Although the last Sunday of August, Jodie will be a spotlight sister. So, you know, it's up to you which one you want to come to. But I would say come sooner than later. That's what I'd say. Yes. But yeah, it's a 90-minute call. We share music, we share ourselves. There's an invitation for you to share your creative expression, whatever that looks like. Sometimes people share songs. Sometimes people share poetry. Sometimes people be showing their art on the screen. Sometimes people do channeled readings. I mean, it's really, and sometimes we just share our hearts, you know. Sometimes it's just like, this is what I'm going through right now, and I just need to be heard in that. So it's a 90-minute call. And I love what a sister said recently. She's like, it's the heartbeat, the lifeblood of the Undeniable Sisterhood is this monthly gathering where we every single month tap in and show up for ourselves and each other in this space. And so would love for you to come to that if you want to attend. What I'll say is that you can attend as Jodie's guest. So I'm going to say, reach out to her, drop a comment in this video, send an email. I'm sure she'll send an email out with a link for you guys if you want to get involved. Because one of the things that I also really believe in is your success is my success, right? So I have a program within the Undeniable Sisterhood where women of the sisterhood can actually share in revenue and commissions by sharing it, right? So Jodie is actually a part of that. And so I want to make sure that she is able to receive in the way that she does, because she shows up and gives so much of herself, as I know you know, because you're here right now. But yeah, reach out, short answer, reach out to Jodie and she'll give you all the information.
Absolutely. Yes. So I'm put the link below this video, so you're going to see it there, but feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any questions. I can send you a direct invitation to that monthly gathering, because I think you have to experience it. That is how it was for me. I had to really be in that energy, be in that space be with the women, see and feel and hear that authenticity. And it's unlike anything else I've ever been a part of. So Naia, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing all about the work that you've done. I know this is something you were so passionate about, and
Absolutely.
we could talk about it for hours. Absolutely. But, just giving that overview today of what it's like to be able to heal in sisterhood has been so powerful. So thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad. And the last thing I'll say, I had a thought, because you recently shared a special offering that you have for women in the Undeniable Sisterhood who want to join the Clarity Collective. Mm-hmm. And I was doing the math and I was like, oh, if people have been thinking about joining the Clarity Collective and they join the Undeniable Sisterhood, because you have that offer, that special for members of the sisterhood, you can get 2 collectives for basically the price of 1. So if you've been thinking about joining the Clarity Collective, I definitely recommend coming to the virtual gathering on Sunday, joining the sisterhood first, so you can get that special from Jodie, and then going and joining the collective so that you can really be supporting both of our businesses. And there was something else that I was going to say. Oh, the last thing that I'll say is, I think one thing that's really unique about the Undeniable Sisterhood spaces is it's a virtual space that doesn't feel virtual. And part of that is because the way that women prepare. And so if you are going to come, I would invite you to really intentionally prepare sacred space in your home. Make sure that you have a candle or sage or any kind of sacred tools. Make sure that you have water, some tea, really create a sacred environment for yourself, for you to receive the medicine that we have on that call for you, because it's there for you. So I think that's it.
That's such great advice. Yeah, I always have my blanket, I get cozy, have my headphones. Yeah, absolutely. It's your time, right? It's your time to take for yourself. And that's a great idea, Naia, with the Clarity Collective, because they can be doing their own work, right, on their own individual selves, right, when it comes to the past hurts and traumas and disappointments and all the things we deal with, and helping ourselves to be more open to that positive change and to abundance and prosperity, and have the best health and wellness we possibly can. So you can be doing that individual work and gaining that clarity and awareness of yourself while you're also healing in community. And so that's a great idea. I will make sure to put the information for all of that below the video so you all can see. But Naia, again, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I am so grateful to have you in my life and in my space and sharing here with us today.
Oh, it's been such my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor always.
Oh, you're very welcome. All right, everyone, take care of yourselves, take care of each other.